Hello, students. Today we will do the first chapter of your grade 4 EVS book, Going to School. Our country, India, has different states. Every state has its own identity. The physical features of the states are different from one another. Some of them have mountains, some of them have plains, some of them have rivers, and some of them have dense forest. And the modes of transportation in these places also differ from one another. The first state we will take up today is a part of northeast of India. The states in this part are also called Seven Sisters. The climate in all these states is relatively same. The state we will discuss here is Assam. Most of the area is covered with water after rain. At times, it rains so heavy that due to waterlogging, the water is knee high everywhere. That is the reason for using bamboo bridges, because the bamboo wood does not get decay even in water. Hence, the kids living in this area use bamboo bridges to reach their schools. Even the rains cannot stop these kids from going to their schools. They hold their books in one hand, and with the other hand, they hold the rope of the bridge. And that's how they cross that bridge. How brave are these kids? Their adversity makes them fearless. Let's talk about another state which is in the far north of India. It is Ladakh. Ladakh is the Union Territory of India. It extends from the Siachen Glacier in the Karakoram Range to the north to the main Great Himalayas. To the south, Ladakh is one of the least densely populated state of India. This is a cold region and it is surrounded by big mountains. The rivers in this area are wide and deep. In this Union Territory of India, people use trolleys to commute from one place to another. A trolley is an open box made of wood. 4 or 5 kids can sit in a trolley at one go and cross these wide and deep rivers. A pulley helps the trolley to move across the rope. And finally, they reach their schools. Next, we will talk about the modern bridges. The bridges which are made up of cement. These cement bridges are very strong. They exist for a very long time. They are far more safe. We can see these bridges in the crowded areas. These bridges are made up of bricks, iron rods, and cement. We can also find steps at both the end of these bridges. These steps help people to get onto the bridge. In place of steps, we can also find ramp. I hope I am clear with all the three kinds of bridges. So let's have a small quiz. Is it easier to walk on a bamboo bridge with shoes on or without shoes? Tell me. Tell me why. I know, you got it right. On a bamboo bridge, it is easier to walk without shoes because it is easier to grip the bamboo bridge with bare feet. The shoes may make you fall due to its flat and slippery base. Alright, now tell me, what is the name of our country? Very easy. The name of our country is India. And now I know you know it all. But tell me, how many states and union territories are there in our country? I know you said 28 states and 8 union territories are there in our country, India. Okay, which state receives maximum rainfall in India? I told you about seven sisters. Remember? Right, you are. This is Meghalaya, and the place is Meghalaya Mesonram. Okay, now given below are two pictures. Have a close look at both the pictures. Now I will ask a question. In both pictures, we see a child pulling out the bucket from the well. Can you find the difference between both the pictures? Which, according to you, is a better way to pull the bucket from the well? Is it with the pulley or without the pulley? Your answer and observation is correct. It is easier to pull the water out with the help of a pulley because with the help of pulley it will be easier for us to pull and we have to put less effort to it and the bucket will come up quite easily. Now observe around you. Where do you make use of pulley? Make a list of all those activities. A simple technique of pulley is used in case of blinds. These are like chicks on the window and they help in pulling the curtain up and down. Similarly, in a theater system, pulleys are used to lift the curtains up. A pulley is used to drop the bucket into the well, collect water, and pull it up again. Though its use has become very less in modern times, but we might perhaps find them in the countryside. Okay, now this is one of the most commonly observed pulley. It is used to lift heavy things, machines, collect debris. This system, which a crane uses, is that of a pulley only. Okay, a sailing boat requires the help of a pulley to move the sails around. Many sports equipments use the pulley system for muscular exercises. With the help of pulley system, rock climbers can climb steep rock surfaces. You know, the wheel enhances the fishing rod in catching fish, and in order to hoist a flag up, the help of pulley is required. Hence, the pulley is of a great use in our day to day life. Next, we take the state of Kerala. It is a state on the southwestern Malabar coast of India. The capital of Kerala is Tiruvananthapuram. It has nearly 600 kilometers of Arabian Sea shoreline. It's known for its palm lined beaches and backwaters, a network of canals. Inland are the Western Ghats, mountains whose slopes support tea, coffee, and spice plantations. There are around 44 rivers in Kerala, and as most of the area is covered with water, kids use vallam to go to their schools. These boats vary from 100 to 138 feet in length, with the rear portion rising to a height of about 20 feet and a long tapering front portion. It resembles a snake with its hood raised. Children use these boats to go to their schools. Alright, now tell me, okay, have you seen a boat? I mean, if never in reality, you must have seen in a picture, right? Okay, if I'm asked the same question, I will simply say yes, I have seen boats made from bamboo in a small or a large size. Okay, tell me, which other modes of transportation can be used to cross the river? Well, we can cross the rivers by swimming, by using ropeway, and simply by using a bridge. Okay, now from waters, I take you to sand dunes. Right, it is the largest Indian state by area and the seventh largest by population. Jaipur is the capital of this place. Right, you are. We are talking about Rajasthan. Rajasthan is located on the northwestern side of India, where it comprises most of the wide and inhospitable Thar Desert. You know, it is also known as Great Indian Desert. The children who live in these sandy areas use camel cart for commuting. The pads of a camel's feet are covered with thick protective soles inside each foot. Towards the heel is a thick ball of fat. That's wonderful. Okay, tell me, have you ever sat on a camel cart or a tanga? Did you sit on your own or somebody else made you sit? Well, your answer might be any of these two. One, no, you have probably never sat on a camel cart or a tanga. But I must tell you and remind you that you must have seen the picture of both somewhere in your book, newspaper, television, internet, or even in a magazine. So you must be well versed how a camel cart or a tanga looks like. Some of you might say that you have sat on a camel cart or a tanga in your village or in a fair, and while your parents, your elder sibling, or the driver of the cart must have helped you to sit on it. So, yes, okay, tell me, which is the capital of Rajasthan? Right, you are. It is Jaipur. Okay, how does the feet of a camel look like? The pads of a camel's feet are covered with thick and protective soles. And how is most of the area of Rajasthan then? Rajasthan is covered mostly with sand. Okay, now we meet those kids who use bullock cart to go to their schools. If it's hot, they use an umbrella to cover their heads. Okay, let's discuss. Have you ever seen a bullock cart? You must have seen it in your villages, but even if you have never seen them around in your cities, you must have seen its picture in a book, newspaper, a magazine, or on a television, on internet, of course. So tell me, does it have a roof? Yes, some of them do have a roof. How does its wheel look like? Well, some of them have the typical wooden wheels. But these days, people use rubber wheels like those in the cars and the trucks, those wheels. People use those wheels to these carts. All right. From the bullock cart, we go to the most famous mode of transportation, which keeps you healthiest. It is a bicycle. Okay, we had been using it since ages now. We cross long distances on a cycle only. Earlier, the schools were far off, so the girls had to drop out because they could not go alone. But things have changed. Girls form groups in seven or eight and they cross all the obstacles to reach their schools on their bicycles. Okay, tell me, how many students in your school come on bicycles? Your answers might have that, students from the senior wing, they use bicycles, and mostly in the junior wing are either dropped by the parents or they come in the school bus. Do you know how to ride a bicycle? If yes, who taught you? Okay, you might say that you know how to ride a bicycle. If you know, then probably your sibling, your parent, or your friend must have taught you how to ride it. And if you say no, you don't know how to ride, you must have been taught by your sibling, your friends, or your parents. If you don't know how to ride a bicycle, you may want to learn one. Now, let me show you a picture. Identify this vehicle. So, this is what is called a jugaad. It makes sound of a fut 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 when it runs. Now, why do we call it a jugaad? This is an Indian word and it means being resourceful to solve a problem. In absence of a vehicle, the spare parts of different vehicles are brought together to design something like this. Its front looks like a bike, a motorbike actually, and the rear has plyboard fixed in a way that people can sit comfortably on it. So, if you have seen something like this in your area, what is the name of this vehicle in your area? As it is an informal design, so the name of this vehicle is also very casual. People call it according to their need. Some of them may call it a phatpati or a gaddi. If I have to ask you, would you like to sit in a vehicle like this? What will you say? You might say that you would not want to sit in a vehicle like this. The reason is very simple. I totally understand. Because the security measures are compromised in a design like this. But such a vehicle can be used as a carriage. Can you tell me why is it called a jugaad? Actually, this is a motorcycle and there is a plywood attached at the rear of it. Such a design has been made by giving money to the local labor to solve a temporary problem. This is not designed in a factory. This is basically designed for lighter works, like a bike is basically used for two people only. But when we attach those plywoods, it is done so to make it little stronger. And of course, to use for these purpose, it is very ordinary in nature. And the quality is surely compromised in a design like this. Okay, now let's move from plains to the dense forest. If I have to ask you, have you ever crossed a dense forest? If yes, then when? Most of you will say that you might have never crossed a forest, or some of you might say that you have probably, when you must have gone to your native village, or you have one by your village side as well. And for those who have crossed a dense forest, in the beginning, it must have been scary for you. Okay, now you have to pen down your experience while crossing a forest. All right, now let's go up in the extreme north where we have hills and which are covered with snow. Places like Kufri in Himachal Pradesh, Sonmarg in Kashmir, where the hills are covered with the snow most of the times. The kids join the hands and keep their feet firm on the snow to walk on the snow. They walk very carefully on the snow because when it takes the shape of ice, it becomes very slippery and we have to be very extra cautious, else, we can be seriously injured. Kids in these areas wear special shoes which are made to walk on the snow so that they can walk easily to their schools. Okay, if I ask you now, have you ever seen the snow? I would also ask you where, and probably in the movies or somewhere else. Your answer may vary, like some of you must have never seen the snow, probably like me, in reality, but must have seen them in the movies or in the books or in the internet on a television or in a magazine. Some of you might be belonging to the areas where it actually snows a lot. There is a place called Kilong in Himachal Pradesh. It is a beautiful place and it keeps on receiving fresh snowfall every now and then. Kilong is 126 kilometers from Manali. So, my next question is, do these places keep receiving snowfall throughout the year? If yes, then why? You may say that these places receive snowfall throughout the year because I'll tell you why. This temperature is very low, and these places are on high altitude. The snow does not melt. So, most of the area is covered with snow most of the year. Okay, from the snow, now we walk onto the mountains, which are rocky and uneven. It is very difficult to walk on these pathways for those who live in plains or cities. But for kids living in these areas, such a track is like a cakewalk. They enjoy on the roads like these. Okay, tell me, is it difficult for you to reach to your school? If you are living in a plain area, I don't think it is difficult for you to reach to your schools. You have so many modes of communication. And if you are living in areas which have has natural barriers to it, the rocky path, the snowy mountains, or the water-filled roads, sure, you may face little bit of trouble. So, tell me, which is your favorite month of the year to go to school? Okay, well, most of the kids like to go to school, no matter the month, I must tell you. But you would agree that the month of March could be your favorite because I'll tell you why. It's neither too hot nor too cold, neither it rains, and the weather is fantastic. So, March could be your favorite. Okay, let's complete these sentences. The capital of Rajasthan is Jaipur. The front of a jugaad is actually motorbike. The capital of Assam is Dispur. And the capital of India is Delhi. Okay, let's match the following. So, camel cart is found in Rajasthan. Very good. Trolleys are found in Ladakh. Bamboo bridge for Assam. And Vallam, very good, in Kerala. Okay, look at the picture and tell me. Very good. It's pulley on a well, bamboo bridge, jugaad. These are feet of camel, feet of a bull. All right, this was great today. With this, we come to end of this chapter. Today, we learned about different physical features of different parts of our country and how, irrespective of adverse living conditions, the young kids are motivated to reach their schools. We'll be back soon with another video. So, till then, take care, keep learning, keep reading.